I wanted to get a baseline dyno before all the work started. So I went up to Marietta, Georgia to Night Owl Performance, and they did 3 runs, and I topped out at 340 horsepower, 340 torque. Now, that was considered healthy, and as you know, it's typically around 330. This Dyno Jet is a healthy motor. So to hit 340, I was quite honestly shocked. But that's great news. It ends up being my motor was not healthy. We'll get into that later. Mikhail at Mishkin was even saying he thinks the motor was timed a bit wrong, so I was advanced, actually getting better numbers. And the Vanos was able to keep the motor from not grenading, hurting itself. So glad I got that done. So headed into getting all the parts assembled next. Just got a big shipment in from ECS. Got the valve, the timing chain guides. All came in that box this morning. So I got a ton of stuff to go through. I'm going to kind of walk you through some of the parts, some of the unique ones. Oh, that's awesome. Look at all the parts. All for the timing, rod bearing job, so many things. Got a water pump. While you're in there, right? Gotta take all this stuff off, so good time to do it all. So, show you some of the cool things, some expensive things, like this stuff right here. A lot of this, as you can imagine, you can't buy aftermarket. Like this is the timing chain guide, and this is actually what fails. These black or these kind of brown plastic pieces, like these tabs. Oops, see my finger. These tabs break off, and these things just shoot off into the engine. Yeah, like price wise, I think these are like $200. You know, this one's actually all plastic, interestingly enough. This one is a big one. It's at the bottom, as you can imagine. It sits like this in the engine. Something like that. But this actually was in the lower pan. All these little tabs broke off, and that was in the lower pan. And that's kind of your first indication, or warning, really, that you need to do your timing chain guide. So one little thing, if I can get these copper collar nuts. This is the kit from Super Sprint for the exhaust, but the guy installing it, Mikhail, is saying, hey, get these OEM BMW ones. I mean, look at they've got a built-in flange or like a nice seating surface. These were stupid expensive too, man. $4 a piece. I'm sure I could have found something equivalent for cheaper, but I ended up just buying the BMW one. But to counter that, I actually did source some different hardware for the upper timing cover. These are actually BMW, these black hex ones. They were pretty cheap. But these other ones I got from McMaster Car, and mainly for their strength rating. I think the regular ones are 8.8 rating, and these are a 12.9. So, right, it's like, why not? And like all these, 25 of them was what? I think like $7. So kind of a win there. But, right, just all kinds of stuff. This is like the spring tensioner, some exhaust gaskets, tons of other gaskets. These are pretty well known. These are not OEM, as you can tell, from old Victor, but they work well. This is I think the upper oil pan. Valve cover gaskets. What else? Got a brand new tank. Now, this is something people joke about with this car, because as these things age, the coolant reservoir turns this kind of nasty yellow-orange that a lot of people like. I don't know if they like. It's got like the patina, you know, like the aged patina. But once you throw on this fresh, fresh tank, it definitely gives it that like new car feel, right? I mean, look at the difference. It's gonna look fresh. Again, another while you're in there, all that's got to come off. So now's the time to start throwing new parts on. And those are known to crack as well, so not a bad idea. It's got 150,000 miles on it. You want to see the main chain for the motor? Check out this sucker. Freaking gnarly. Look how freaking thick it is. Huge. It's basically like 2 chains put together. Wow. This is also another, oh, look at that. This is another aftermarket one, but this is actually the OE part, made in Germany. Surprisingly not that expensive. I think it's like 40 bucks, 50 bucks, something like that. Some more washers, tons of grommets. That's for the valve cover. Of course, coolant. What else? Oh, here you go. I think this is like the single, other than the water pump, this is like one of the single most expensive parts. Actually, they were out of stock on the other side. This is the cam timing chain tensioner. This is $260, this little part. Basically just, I think, puts tension on the chain like that, and it slides on that. These surfaces, like Delrin or something. Yikes. That's it. Some Vanos bits in here. Holla. Hey, Norm. Having fun in that box? Mm-hmm. So another thing I'm trying to do is everything I've bought, I've been tracking in this spreadsheet. Part number, what it is, even some real OEM images, just trying to keep track of everything. But the main thing is, where's my column? In hand. So I'm going out to each part and verifying I have, exactly how many I need, and it's the right part number, and then I'm checking this. And that's huge because sending this down to Florida, I gotta make sure I have everything, because we don't want one part to hold us up. So that's been kind of painstaking to go through every little thing. But yeah. All these things, oh my God. So this video I created for Mikhail at Mishkin Motors, basically because I didn't have mufflers at the time. We needed a solution to, turn the exhaust down after the X-pipe. So these guys, what I'm talking about here, were the turn downs to basically accomplish like a really crude muffler delete. Pretty tight, and I'm not sure where that X-pipe dumps out, if it's like right near the diff or it's pushed back. So this may be pretty close to hitting this. Yeah, I'm just kind of worried about melting plastic. I hate for you to like have to hack on stuff like this, but there's plenty of material here to cut this down, probably to make it fit better. Anyway, that's one thing I thought about that might be an issue. The sport cats in here, as well as all the header piping. I inspected everything to make sure nothing was bent or broken, or all the welds look good. So that all should be good. I also kind of assembled it together to make sure all the pipes were there. Orlando, here we go. So I basically did this 2-week journey where I went and dropped off the car, flew back, and then did the same. Flew down there, drove the car back. So here I am from Atlanta to Orlando. And once I got to there, Mikhail quickly got to work, started sharing all these pictures. These are pictures from him. Here's the timing chain job. That's before photo. Very crispy. I guess this car had long oil change intervals. I mean, look at that. It's baked. So I'll get into that Vanos unit later. It was toast. But here's some of the new parts. Chain guides, that new hardware we talked about. New chains, new and old part. So exhaust removal. Totally gone. See Mikhail's other toys in there. There you go. There's those big flange nuts. Got the collectors in. It's like the assembled everything in there. So here are those turn downs. You kind of see how Mikhail was able to get them in there, kind of avoiding that plastic area. We're headed home. So the intro clip is me headed home. Yeah, that check engine light, it was actually for a O2 sensor. The high flow cats kicked that off. I was able to code that out later, but The next video is going to be the Vanos kind of description of what happened. I ended up taking it apart to see what was going on. So see you next time.